Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda. This is Kevin,
Hi there.
and we're very happy to have with us today Stephanie Duprie Routh from Austin, Texas,
Welcome.
right down the road from us.
Yeah.
We're all about to blow away today. The weather's crazy. Um, anyway, Stephanie received the Jurors Award for an image that's actually in the slideshow we're fixing to show you in the Open Unmoored exhibition last year. I think it was last year. And Debra Klomp Ching was our juror. She was. So, Kevin, would you like to read Stephanie's bio?
Stephanie Duprie Routh, based in Austin, Texas. It's already starting to go south. You can cut that out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go again. Stephanie Duprie Routh, based in Austin, Texas, is an artist who uses photography for narrative storytelling and conceptual art. Her personal work explores ideas of womanhood, the essence of place, and the transitory states of simply being human. As an artist, she uses the visual language of photography to tell stories through layers and interventions, creating new ways of seeing and considering self. Routh's award-winning work has been exhibited in the United States, Japan, Italy, Spain, and India, both in galleries and juried shows. She's been published by the Raw magazine, Frames magazine, PDN magazine, National Geographic Traveler, and Dodo magazine, the Austin Chronicle, and by several independent photo reviews. She sits on discussion panels and has had interviews by art curators. Her monograph, Where the Ocean Drinks the Sky, has sold out 2 editions and is found in hotel rooms. Excuse me. Ruth's second book, Daydream and Memories of Youth, debuted in 2024 and is also installed in hotels. Her work is held in the permanent collection of the Whitliff Collections, Center Image Library and Archive, Texas A&M University, Concordia University, Austin Bergstrom International Airport, the Lauren at Lady Bird Lake, and with private collectors. Ruth's work has been recognized by many organizations, including awards via Paris Photo Prize, Julia Margaret Cameron Awards, IPA Awards, and Lens Culture. In 2024, she was nominated to apply for a Leica Oscar Oscar Barnack Award. She travels worldwide for assignments, commissions, and personal projects. Wow, that's incredibly impressive. Fantastic. We're lucky to
Yeah,
have you here today.
I'm
So,
lucky to be here. Thank you. Phoenix Rising metaphorically illustrates the many transformations a woman may go through in her lifetime as she adapts to roles both expected of and desired by her. At a young age, I intuitively learned to reinvent myself. Expectations of others and my own beliefs shape the person I am today. As I travel through different phases of my life, I morph into what is needed. I can be a provider, artist, lover, caretaker, almost subconsciously. For the project Phoenix Rising, I create an image and then intervene with the physicality of the print. I re-photograph the new incarnation. This new re-scene magnifies the underlying principle found in all my creative endeavors, same but different. The images are made all over the world. The initial image, representing the past carried forward, travels elsewhere to represent our journey in life. The print is modified as a testament to women's adaptability. The rephotographed image is not a replicate, but a new work with a different narrative. It may represent a memory, a current state of being, or a wish for the future. The altered second image, representing the expanded self, is left where photographed. Maybe it is found and kept, or perhaps discarded. This is a metaphorical bridge illustrating real life experiences. The undetermined endpoint of the images relates to many unknown versions I may become of myself. The destination is irrelevant. Rather, the occurring transformation is the primary focus. This multifaceted project showcases the reshaping of women's personalities as a journey. Regardless of my path or the role I embody, the bedrock of my personality remains constant. I am the same, but an altered version of myself. I carry my past into the present and continually expand who I am. The images are phoenixes, just like all women are the epitome of the mother of reinvention. We rise, burn to ash, reinvent, rise again, and repeat.
wonderful. Very, very nice. Well, I have some questions for you, but first I'm
You're
going to
gonna
screen
screen
share
share.
the images. Can you see that?
I can now. Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is the image that
Yes, it is. That
this
received
is
the Jurors
that
Award.
received the Jurors Award. Wonderful. Okay, here's the first question. Transformation seems to be a thread that runs through your work. How much do you see this as an artistic device, and how much as a narrative, revelatory, biographical device, or are they the same?
For this project, most of the transformation idea is biographical, autobiographical. Um, I use the altering of the images to expand on that concept. So, as an artistic advice, it's done in support of the original concept, which is the transformations that I go through as a person. Um, and as far as the narrative and the relative revelatory, I can't say that word, um, part of it, I am hopeful that that is open to interpretation with the viewer. So I don't necessarily think, oh, I want to make an image that has this narrative. I try to leave it as open-ended as possible. So I think they're one and the same for this project.
Right, right. Okay. So let's get a little bit further here. I think there's one in particular. We can come back to some of these, but like this one here. So mark making, mark making. As a painter, mark making is near and dear to my heart. You employ mark making in much of your work. Where does this come from in your work, and how would you describe your use of it in your work?
Well, I like to think and I like to analyze things, and I want people to do the same thing with my images. So for me, altering the images, whether it's through marking physically on the print or creating multiple layers in the image, with the subject matter, is a way to get people to slow down and examine the print, try to determine either the technical aspects of the print or what the psychological intent was meant to be. Um, I also think that I'm very drawn to mystery and ambiguity and moodiness, and marking prints in this way helps deepen that type of thought process as for me and the viewer. It gives me time to think while I'm making it, and then hopefully the viewer takes some time with it as well.
So the process, let's go back to that one.
Okay.
So the process would be that you take the original image, and then do you go back and digitally manipulate things, or it's all analogs. You're making marks on the image itself.
It's analog. So during COVID, I wound up with a stack of test prints, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with them because I didn't want to just throw them out. And I started thinking about manipulating the actual physical print. So all of the images were made initially with one photograph, no double exposures, no digital manipulation. And then I printed those images, and then I did various and sundry things to the image. I marked it, I cut it, I burnt it, I sunk it in water, I put soap on it, you name it. I played a lot.
Well,
And
great.
and then I re-photographed the image after I played around with the physical print. So it's somewhat of a three-step process for this project.
And I love the idea that you leave them where you photograph them. So
Yeah.
that's fascinating to me. So they're running around out in the world right now, no telling where, right?
Exactly. And I've had the great fortune of in a couple of instances only, going back to see if the print was still there a day or a week later or even a year later. And most of the time, the prints are not there, especially a year later. But in one case, about 3 days after I left the print, I went back and the print had migrated about 2 blocks down the street, and it was still whoever moved it, like moved it intentionally because you could still see the print. They didn't just, it wasn't the wind just blew it down. They,
Right.
very carefully put it in a place where it could be seen. And I thought, that's very cool. Somebody played with my print and
It
moved it.
made them part of the project, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really
Have
cool.
any of them ever come back to you where somebody found one and recognized it?
No, not yet. And I thought about marking the back of the print with some kind of website or my email address or something just to see if it would come back to me. But then I decided it's somewhat irrelevant. It would be fun, kind of like a Where's Waldo thing of photographs.
Right.
But but that wasn't the original intent of the project, so I didn't do that. So who knows where they go?
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Okay, the final question. The feminine plays a large role in your work. Could you tell us about that or this?
Well, my entire life, I've been surrounded by strong women. My mother, my grandmothers, my friends are very strong women. Um, Most of them are usually creative women as well. With that, I have worked my entire adult life in male-dominated fields. So I have had the influx of both male and female thought processes very strongly imprinted on me as I've gone through my adult life. And I I've come to realize that I really want to hold space for myself. And I really want to lay groundwork for my contemporaries or people who may follow me in the future in a way that feminism can be received without controversy, that it is a dialogue for everybody. I feel like my artwork is not feminist art in the traditional sense of the word, because I think that the concepts that I address are universal concepts. Men and women both go through transformations, and but I am currently choosing to use women as my starting point for those discussions. Um, so that's kind of where it comes from, both my life experiences and what I hope to accomplish in
Right,
that.
right. And so are these friends of yours or models or how do you get these
Uh,
subjects?
so none of these are friends of mine, believe it or not. Some of them are people that I do not know that I have photographed on the street. Some of them are models that I photographed in various settings. So it varies. And where the prints go, if I, for example, I made the initial print for this one in one part of Mexico, and then about 3 years later, I took it to a different part of Mexico. But I don't choose the destination based on where I made the prints. I choose the destination based on how I feel that destination is. And I know that sounds very weird, but
No,
um, I feel the prints and I'm like, this print feels like it belongs here. So
that's very cool.
very intuitive. So the models and the people on the street, some of them have seen some of the work, and they like it. At least they tell me they like it. So I
Right.
gotta believe them. And then some of them don't even know that they're part of this project because they're just a stranger on the street that
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
talk to.
So do you have this in book form? Is it?
Not yet. I actually had a conversation this morning with a publisher about this specific project and maybe producing a book for that in 2026. So we'll see.
Well, wonderful. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say about the work?
Um, I just would like to say that I hope that when people look at the images that they make up their own stories about what they're seeing and what they think. That is the ultimate goal is that everybody can read something in my images that applies to them specifically. Um, sometimes I'm lucky enough that people tell me what it is when they look at the image, but most of the time I don't know, but I hope that's what happens.
Wouldn't it be wonderful to know what the people that find them on the street, what they're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool too. I've had a couple of photography friends photograph me while I was making these images, and they've told me what people around me are doing and their reactions and stuff after the fact. So that's kind
Right.
of neat.
Have you
Mhm.
left them in any other countries besides Mexico?
Oh yes, they're they're all around the world. They're in India. My first one that I did was in India actually, and I left it in India. Of course, I have some in the US. There are some in France, Portugal. They're all over the world, and who knows if they'll stay where they are. South
That's
Africa.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So what was the genesis of that? How did you come up with that idea, with that concept?
Well, I just, aside from the manipulation and trying to decide what I was going to do with all the test prints, when I went to photograph them, I didn't want to photograph all of them in Austin. I stuck them in my suitcase and decided, well, let's go and see what happens. And I just kind of open-mindedly went, I was trying to think, India was the first place, and I thought, well, I'm just going to leave it here, but I don't want to just leave it on the desk. So I took it out in the world and actually sunk it in the Ganges River.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and I just thought, let's see what happens if I do this. What happens to the print? Does it melt? Does it bubble up? I don't know. I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. That's amazing.
so that's how it started. And then I just kept doing it because it was fun. Felt a little bit like guerrilla art and the little rebel
Yeah. Yeah,
side of me wanted
exactly.
to do that. Not graffiti where it's permanent, but just a little bit of that edge.
Right, right. So is this an ongoing project? Are you still working on this one?
It's winding down. I have a few more prints that I want to make for myself, and I'll probably finish it up this year. I feel that it's starting to taper off. It's been working for about 4 years, 3 to 4 years now, and usually I spend 4 to 6 years on a project, and it winds itself down on its own.
Right.
So.
And you've had an exhibition of this work?
No, not of this work, not yet.
Yeah.
This is a sequel, if you will, to the Daydreams book that I have exhibitions with and that's currently traveling. And this image that's up right now is also in the Daydreams exhibit, and it's the cornerstone and the first image of this project. So they kind of all tie themselves together, and I'll just keep moving on to the next project as this one winds up and finishes.
So what are you thinking about for your next project?
Secrets.
Secret.
I, I already know what the next project is. It's about secrets, and it's
Secret.
already started.
Oh, it's not a secret. It is about secrets. Okay.
Correct. That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's intriguing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's in its very early stages, and I've just started shooting for that last year, so we'll see where it goes.
Well, we look forward to seeing
Yeah,
that.
that is fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, anything else you'd like to say?
Not that I can think of. I'm just very happy that I'm able to do this interview and that Debra Klomp Ching chose this image. I was thrilled to hear that news, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this. And thank you so much for that opportunity.
Well, we we greatly appreciate you supporting the gallery. Thank you
It's
so
great.
much.
I've been there in person. It's fabulous.
Well, I wish we still had it.
Uh,
Unfortunately,
the
it's
last
all
time,
online now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but when you did have it, it was great because one of my images was there. I think it was chosen by, I can't remember who it was chosen by. It was a Texas exhibit. Um, anyway, it was a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic, actually.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the pandemic got us.
It did.
It
That
got
and
a lot
other,
of people.
that and other things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still getting people. Yeah.
Well, Stephanie, thank you again. And the work is
you.
wonderful and can't wait to see what your secrets are.
It takes me a few years and then I'll let you in.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right. Well, take care and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You
Bye-bye.
bet. Bye.